There comes a moment in every serious journey when you hit a low point so deep you ask yourself a dangerous question. Why do I even bother? That moment is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're standing exactly where most people stop. This is a place where dreams quietly die, not because they were impossible, but because they required more than comfort, more than motivation, more than talk. This is the point where the road gets lonely, heavy, and uncomfortable. And that's precisely why it works. You don't learn how to endure hardship without going through hard things. There is no shortcut to resilience. There is no manual for strength that doesn't involve pain. So when it gets hard, good, that's the filter. That's the separation line between people who want something and people who are willing to become something. If it feels unbearable, understand this. It means fewer people will walk this road with you. And that's why it leads somewhere rare. Most people quit not because they can't do it, but because they refuse to accept what it costs. The quiet voice most people never hear. Every human being has a path. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one, a subtle one. The problem is that the voice guiding that path is incredibly gentle. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't compete with noise. It whispers. And if you never slow down, if you never sit with yourself, if you never learn to be still, you'll miss it. That's why so many people keep repeating the same mistakes, the same cycles, the same disappointments. They're not broken. They're just disconnected from themselves. When you're not in touch with who you are, you can't see the angles. You can't see the side roads. You can't recognize opportunity when it quietly appears. You keep tripping over the same patterns, blaming the world, blaming luck, blaming timing, while the answer has been waiting for you the entire time. Knowing yourself isn't optional if you want more from life. It's essential because the light does appear for everyone, but only those who are present enough recognize it. Acceptance is not weakness, it's power. There's a brutal truth most people avoid. Acceptance does not mean approval. Acceptance means reality. Life isn't fair. Life can be cruel. And sometimes you don't deserve what happens to you. But there's a difference between saying, this shouldn't have happened, and accepting this has happened. The second one changes everything. The longer you cling to how things should have been, the longer you extend your own suffering. Reality doesn't change because you resist it. It only tightens its grip. The moment you accept what is, not emotionally but mentally, you regain control. Because once you stop fighting reality, you can start shaping your response. And your response is the only thing that ever belonged to you. The end of your mirror. Think back, not hypothetically. Honestly, at the beginning of the year, you had plans. You had promises. You had intentions. You said you'd stop certain habits. You said you'd start new ones. You said this year would be different. So now ask yourself, without excuses, how did you do? Did you stop doing the things you swore you would stop? Did you start doing the things you promised you would start? Did you follow through even when motivation disappeared? Or did time quietly pass while nothing really changed? This is not about guilt. This is about clarity. Because ambition without execution is just fantasy. If not now, then when? A simple question has ended more procrastination than any motivational speech ever could. If not now, then when? Most people aren't obsessed with their goals because deep down, they don't believe they deserve them. Dreaming is easy. Becoming is not. Between who you are and who you want to be exists a brutal gap, filled with discipline, sacrifice, and uncomfortable change. And whether you like it or not, you have a responsibility to cross that gap, not for applause, not for validation, but because you are not put here to live half alive. Pain is temporary. Identity is forever. There will be moments when you feel empty, moments when you question whether you have anything left. But here's what time always reveals. You will never remember the pain. You will always remember the pride. Pain fades. Character remains. Every person you admire paid a price you don't see. You don't get the glory without the darkness. You don't get the success without the scars. Pressure isn't punishment. It's a privilege. Because pressure is what forces growth. Pressure is what sharpens identity. Pressure is what separates potential from reality. Let's get one thing straight. Most people aren't failing because they don't have potential. They're failing because they don't have pressure. They live their whole lives in comfort, surrounded by distractions, never demanding more from themselves, and then they wonder why they feel empty. And here's the unpopular truth. There is no greater privilege than feeling personal pressure, that internal push that says, you can do better, That quiet discomfort that refuses to let you stay average. Because pressure is proof that you still care. Pressure is proof that you still have hunger. Pressure is proof that you haven't given up on who you could become. Some people go their entire lives never even realizing there's a train to catch. You feel it. So don't run from it. Lean into it. You don't want easy. You want power. Every time life gets hard, your mind tries to negotiate. Maybe I should slow down. Maybe I need a break. Maybe I should wait until I feel better. And yes, recovery matters. Rest matters. But there's a difference between recovery and avoidance. Most people don't rest to recover. They rest to escape. They escape into dopamine. They escape into scrolling. They escape into junk food, lazy habits, weak conversations, empty nights. And the scariest part? They call it self-care. No, that's self-destruction dressed up in a soft name. If you want to become dangerous in a good way, you have to learn to sit in discomfort without flinching, because discomfort is not the enemy. Avoiding discomfort is the enemy. The work feels hard until it feels like you. Here's what discipline gives you that motivation never will. Identity. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. And decisions repeated become character. You want to know what it feels like to be your best version? It feels like momentum. It feels like control. It feels like waking up with clarity and moving with precision. It feels like being proud of yourself without needing anyone to notice. That flow state people chase, that confidence, that calm focus, it's earned through consistency, not hype. You don't become strong by thinking about strength. You become strong by doing hard things until hard things stop scaring you. Courage is two parts, and most people only have one. People think courage means being fearless. Wrong. Courage is action in the presence of fear. Courage is movement in the presence of uncertainty. You don't get to wait until you feel ready. That day doesn't come. The future belongs to risk takers, to people willing to step into the room before they have the full plan. But here's what most people forget. The second part of courage is persistence, because starting is easy compared to staying. There's a brutal period between when you begin and when you see results. And in that gap, most people fall apart. They can't stand not knowing. They can't stand silence. They can't stand slow progress. So they run back to comfort. But if you can endure that middle phase, you develop something rare, a mind that doesn't need proof to keep going. Diamonds don't come from comfort. You want a different life? Then understand what creates it. Time, pressure, consistency. With less pressure, you don't become a diamond. You become something softer, something ordinary. That's why the struggle matters. Suffering creates perseverance. Perseverance creates character. Character creates hope. So when life squeezes you, don't panic. Pressure is not here to crush you. Pressure is here to reveal you. Stop hiding behind preparation. Here's one of the most common traps smart people fall into. They confuse preparation with progress. They search for the perfect routine, the perfect app, the perfect system, the perfect plan, the perfect day to begin, and they call it being serious. No, it's fear. If you never start, you never have to face failure. If you never start, you never have to be judged. If you never start, you never have to find out if you're actually capable. So you keep organizing your life while your life passes. Just start. Post a video. Send the email. Train today. Write the page. Make the call. Because none of the extra details matter if you never begin. Internal orientation, the real power move. This world will try to break you by making you externally oriented. What do they think? What if I look stupid? What if I fail publicly? What if I disappoint them? Listen carefully. If you live for opinions, you will die by opinions. External focus makes you fragile because you're constantly bouncing between other people's expectations. Internal focus makes you dangerous because you're building confidence from within. When you dance to your own rhythm, people won't understand you. Good. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They can't imagine the future you're building. So let them misunderstand you, because being misunderstood is often the price of being ahead. The only way out is through. You cannot escape what's inside you with distractions. Vices don't heal you. They delay you. Escapism doesn't remove pain. It buries it until it becomes heavier. The only way out is through realignment, purpose, daily habits. Not a dramatic transformation overnight, but a disciplined shift day by day. And you deserve that shift. You are worth a version of you that doesn't self-abandon. Elite results require elite cuts. High performers don't carry dead weight. No drama, no gossip, no low ambition, no non-urgent energy. Because the higher you go, the higher the price. If you want to win, you need urgency. You need standards. You need execution. And that means cutting anything that doesn't contribute. You cannot compete at a high level while dragging your old life behind you. It's impossible. Here's the truth most people never accept. Getting older is automatic. Getting better is not. Life does not upgrade you by default. Time does not sharpen you. Experience alone does not evolve you. If it did, everyone would be powerful by now. Growth only happens when you become intentional. And intentional living is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront who you really are, not who you pretend to be. Energy never lies, and it always comes back. You cannot cheat energy. You might fool people. You might avoid consequences for a while, but energy always returns. If you wake up negative, complain all day, move without purpose, numb yourself at night, that energy comes back as chaos, stagnation, frustration. If you wake up focused, disciplined, grounded, intentional, that energy comes back as clarity, momentum, opportunity. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you don't like your life right now, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, what energy am I putting out every single day? Because your habits are casting votes for the future version of you. Intentional people win every time. Most people think life will somehow shape them into something better. It won't. If you and I are going to improve, it will be because we choose to. Intentional living turns good intentions into real actions. It means asking uncomfortable questions like, am I proud of who I'm becoming? Would I admire myself if I were watching my life from the outside? Am I actually doing what I say matters to me? Because admiration is a signal. The things you admire in others are the things you already know you should be doing. If you admire discipline, be disciplined. If you admire courage, act bravely. If you admire builders, build. You already know the path. What's missing is execution. Setbacks are setups, if you let them be. Every setback carries a lesson or a redirection. The story is not over. This chapter is setting up the next one. And yes, the setup is uncomfortable. Pressure, resistance, delays, heartbreak, failure. But we don't want ease. We want growth. Ease keeps you small. Growth forces evolution. And when you understand that everything happening to you is also happening for you, your entire posture toward life changes. You stop asking, why me? And you start asking, what is this building in me? Healing isn't pretty, but it's powerful. Healing is messy. It's uncomfortable. It takes time. But on the other side of healing is freedom. You are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are not what hurt you. You are the person who faced it and didn't quit. Scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof of survival. Wear them with pride, not as an excuse, but as evidence. Master your mind, or it will rob you. Forget the thief in the alley. The most dangerous thief lives in your mind. The voice that says, you're not enough. You missed your chance. You should quit. Go back to what's comfortable. You must confront that voice. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel confident. Now, minute by minute, step by step, day by day. There is no challenge you cannot walk away from stronger. If you refuse to surrender internally, work is the great equalizer. You don't need the best genetics. You don't need the best connections. You don't need the perfect start. What you need is the will to work. There is no shortcut around effort. No hack that replaces consistency. No substitute for showing up. Work works. Every single time. When a negative voice says you don't have it in you, answer it with conviction. I will win. Say it again. Say it until your actions catch up. Conviction is power. Comfort is a silent killer. Every major decision comes down to one choice. The life you want versus the comfort you have. Comfort feels safe, but it slowly suffocates ambition. Growth requires trade-offs. And the higher you want to go, the higher the price. You don't get to have everything. You choose what you're willing to sacrifice. You are responsible, and that's good news. The life you have is the life you chose. And if you don't like it, you can choose again. That's not pressure. That's power. True happiness isn't found in what you get. It's found in who you become. You don't go into opportunities. You grow into them. You don't go into possibilities. You become capable of them. And that capability is built daily. This is a final truth. Nothing gets easier. You get better. The weight doesn't get lighter. You get stronger. The fear doesn't disappear. You get braver. The pressure doesn't stop. You get sharper. So stop waiting for life to calm down. It won't. Build yourself into someone who can handle more. Someone who doesn't fold. Someone who doesn't retreat. Someone who finishes what they start. Because at the end of your life, the greatest regret is not failure. It's never becoming who you knew you could be. And that ends now. Not someday. Not next year. Now.